as the congressional suggestions have to do with mental health. And I want to turn to Kimberly Blaine now, who's speaking today as a parent and as a mental health practitioner. Kimberly?
Yes, thank you. So good to meet you, Vice President.
This is an
honor. You know, parents are absolutely thrilled that you're investing in strategies to make schools safer. However, there is a great concern that we're leaping too quickly into a one-size-fits-all by having more police on schools. We kind of, believe that prevention should be the main focus. Dealing with and identifying at-risk children and youth. So our question to you is, are you proposing sending more armed guards into school, or having schools hire more mental health professionals?
Well, quite frankly, you probably forgot more about this subject than most people know based on your background. Let me say where we are. The first and most important thing is to engage in trying to come up with ways to prevent children who are at risk from falling into a circumstance where they're whatever mental problems they may have, whatever emotional problems they have, before they metastasize into behavior that is antisocial. And so one of the things we've done, we're proposing, is a new project called Project Aware, where we are going in, just like you teach school teachers about everything from CPR to basic first aid. We are able to go in and with this proposal and train school personnel to identify aberrant behavior that warrants someone like you, our professional, looking at it. And so there is a mechanism by which we are going to provide that kind of training for school districts around the country and school teachers and administrators if they want it. It's a $40 million proposal to begin this process. The second piece of this is there also is a requirement, once that conduct is observed and it warrants a professional looking at it, to be able to get to the parents or the legal guardian and say, here are a menu of people you can go to. This is where you can get help. This is how you can get the help. Thirdly, because of the mental health parity that was passed in 2008, and because of the Affordable Care Act, the combination of those two things means that there is now affordable mental health care that will be available to all Americans. You have thousands of young children, as you know, aging out of Medicaid, for example, with mental health assistance from professionals who age out and all of a sudden they're not covered. So the whole idea is preventative here, to identify before the problem metastasizes. There's a second piece. We are not calling for armed guards in schools. We are not calling for, we think it'd be a terrible mistake my wife's a full-time educator, full-time teacher, teaches a full load right now to community college, but for years in the public high school system. The last thing we need to do is be arming school teachers and administrators. But we did have in the original Biden crime bill that put 100,000 cops in the street, the option for districts to choose a school resource officer. That is a sworn officer, a uniformed officer, armed or unarmed, up to the school, in the school, where just like community policing work, because people in the neighborhood get to know the law enforcement officer, trust them, and report to them. Students establish a relationship with the law enforcement officer to say, by the way, John, I just want you to know, and open my locker this morning, the guy 2 lockers down, I saw the butt of a gun in his, in his locker. Don't tell anybody. But there's a drug deal going to go down after school. It worked. It worked to lessen violence in the school. Now, we think it should be made more flexible. So in the proposal that we're making to make 1,000 of these school resource officers available, we are making it flexible enough for your school district could say, by the way, we'd like to compete for that money, but we don't want a law enforcement officer in our school. We want to hire a school psychologist with that money. So it's totally up to the school district as to how they want to use that money. But it's not about arming the schools. as the mayor of Chicago said,